Hey, what's going on there? Today in this video, I just want to talk about a few investment stories which I think are really, really funny. And the reality is that we all kind of mess up, I mean, we just do. We're all human, you know. And I really like it when people say, when you mess up, right? What the hell were you thinking? And you're like, well, that's the point. I wasn't thinking, you know. And when you mess up, and we all do it. Of course, with me, I'd rather kind of err on the caution of screwing up in the short term so I can win in the long term. And I think what holds a lot of people back is scared away what people think about them and messing up. And it's a big psychological thing to overcome is just kind of screw up and be okay with it and keep me moving forward because you have to take action to succeed, and of course when you take action all of it's going to pan out. You're going to screw up sometimes. It's an interesting concept I was thinking about earlier. Of course, no person was like really perfect. Nobody's perfect unless it's depending on your belief system, maybe like Jesus or something, right? Now, before I begin, down below there's this link in the description, right? And if you click on there, it's something I really believe in. It's like a training program slash education for people who try to sell products online or services or ideas. It has to do with that concept. So if you're into that, I would highly encourage you to check it out. I think it's really, really good. Now, I heard about the first one, this first investment story, which is pretty funny, about Sullivan Brothers, from the book called The Snowball about Warren Buffett and his whole history. I thought it was such a fascinating story that I wanted to share it with you. And the keyword that I got was this one, investment banking stories. That's why that was the one that's very competitive that I wanted to enter it into. But it's a great book, a little bit long at times, drawn out. But Sullivan Brothers was a hugely big investment firm that, well, not surprisingly, went out of business in 2003. It was like Animal House, the movie where all this crazy shit goes down when it comes to investment firms. Have you ever seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street? Remember all the crazy shit that went down in that movie? It was like that supposedly. They were like, I'm not sure if this went down, but could have. They were like throwing midgets, and had all this weird shit going, the money just all over the damn place. It was pretty crazy. Probably been a pretty fun place to work at, maybe before it went out of business. Maybe that's the reason why. There's people having too much damn fun there. Anyways, here's how the story goes, which is a fascinating story. This lady who worked at Sullivan Brothers and for a long time, and it was basically her last day. So her coworkers decided to kind of prank her for fun. Um, Now I'll give you one quick story about myself. I used to work at this hotel restaurant. It was one of my favorite jobs ever. I love that job. And I worked at the restaurant. I just basically ran the restaurant, and it was me and the cook. You know, I was busy. Sometimes I did room service. I was like, zoom, zoom. I had like 15 tables a couple times. And I just was like, yeah. Anyways, it was fun. It was very challenging too. I was weeded out a lot of times. But anyways, me and this cook, right? It was his last day. And I remember before he would change the kitchen over from breakfast into lunch. I did the morning stuff, right? And I used to put in eggs Benedict right when he turned the kitchen over, and he just flip out because it just took so much work. He's like, I gotta bring it all back out. It takes all his time, and he just blew up one time. So for his last day, I was waiting for him to change the kitchen over, and then eggs Benedict, eggs Benedict, eggs Benedict. Went back in to see if the guy blew up. Just to, kind of poke. But he kind of knew I was just joking with it. Plus, I warned him, like, hey, that's a joke. Don't make the eggs Benedict. I was just messing with you. That was my prank to him on his last day. It was kind of fun. You ever thought about like what to do on your last day of a job? There's one lady, her story about she showed up in like her sleeping robe and flip flops or little slippers. Here's my last day. Goodbye, everybody. I thought that was kind of funny. But anyways, back to Sullivan Brothers. I want to talk about this prank, this joke that was funny. Uh, the person who came up with this whole joke prank thing was the head of the government securities desk. Or he was really up there. He was like a big, manager or whatever, high up there. And the creator of the prank contacted an employee um, at one of the saleswoman's client firms. So it was one of her customers that she worked with, and kind of persuaded the person to participate in the prank by placing a false bid with the sales lady for get this $1 billion worth of a 30-year bond to buy from her. $1 billion. Okay, think about that. And he assured, oh no, the employee, the order's not going to be placed. Don't worry, right? Like, trust me. Famous last words, right? Trust me. Basically, as you could probably already guess, someone messed up hugely and the order was placed. So $1 billion was purchased that wasn't supposed to be purchased. What a mess up. I mean, think about all the mess ups at all your jobs. $1 billion mistake. That's a big investment mistake. Huge. Um, so that's like probably the most expensive prank ever that went bad. And that's what happened. And obviously the guy got fired and the company was a big mess. And then Warren Buffett had to go in there and persuade things. But the fascinating thing about it was it was a big company, not too big to fail, but he kind of made the case for a bailout from the government because that Solomon Brothers happened before Lehman Brothers and the whole subprime mortgage mess that almost destroyed the entire world economy went down. And so it was a really fascinating like warning sign of things to come, and that's a fascinating story in itself, right? All the subprime mortgages that were giving loans to people who had no way of paying it back, and it just was like, what a mess. Um, but anyways, another story I talked about. It's not really, well, it's more like a joke. It was kind of funny. But a stockbroker was filling out a job application, and he came to the question, "Have you ever been arrested?" And he answered no to the question. And the next question that the interviewer asked, uh, answer the preceding question was yes, but he messed up. He asked the question. He said, "Well, why?" And nevertheless, the stockbroker answered, "Never got caught." So he screwed up by, asking the question. He screwed up by answering the question and wasn't supposed to. That was kind of funny. But I don't know if I trust stockbrokers. Do you trust, especially after that Wolf of Wall Street movie? Have you seen all that, Ryan? Yeah. No stockbrokers, no. Another one I don't trust is financial advisors. And I kid you not, I know two people personally that gave their money to a financial advisor and they like lost it all. And I'm talking like a lot of money, like in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you be very careful about, trusting people with your money because it's your money, not their money. They don't really care about it as much as you do. Right? Okay. So the financial advisor told his client, "Well, I got bad news, and I got worse news. Which do you want to hear first?" And the client goes, "Well, the bad news. Well, all your money will be gone in 24 hours. So it's like, shit. Oh my gosh. The client says, "What's the worst news?" "Well, I should have made this call yesterday." To you. Anyways, a couple of things I wanted to share. Mostly I want to share that story about Solar Butter because I thought that was fascinating. $1 billion mistake. And I've known so many people screw up at jobs. And I used to work at a door manufacturing. And one time, it's a big manufacturing thing with doors. And this one new guy came in. We were having some really good conversations. And I was like, they left me behind in charge. And I was like, cutting like parts of a door. And then I think the order changed. And I didn't change the length. So all the doors came out. They're talking to him. I did this for like an hour. And they were all screw ups. Oh man, my boss. Rah, 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 rah. Sorry, man. That was one of my big job mess ups that I did. Not a huge one, but still. Anyways, so if you think that you messed up at a job, just look at that $1 billion mistake and be like, they could maybe tell a story. "Well, I didn't mess up at this job, but one time at Sullivan Brothers, they actually mistakenly bought $1 billion worth of something that was a mistake. So, if you compare the two, mine's not that bad. I don't need to get fired over it. I thought it was pretty funny. But anyways, speaking about mistakes when it comes to internet and maybe moving ideas or services online, which the world has changed a lot, and figuring out the way people communicate, new ways, is really kind of somewhat important. It's very important, and you're still trying to just, the old age of media, of newspapers and television that ruled the world for a long time. It's kind of changed a lot, especially the invention of the internet with social media and stuff like that. So one of the best things someone can do and learn, the skill set someone to learn, is the converting part. And that's the part that I kind of struggled with in the past because I could get traffic. You could do that. It doesn't matter how many subscribers or views or likes, blog post traffic you get if they don't convert over. So that's a skill set which is very valuable. And what you do after that first sale is really where a lot of work is. And knowing that skill set is one of the most valuable things someone can learn nowadays, I think. And that's why if you click that link below, there's training on how someone can do that, which will be insanely helpful that you can leverage to your advantage going forward in the future. So I'm a big believer in that. Check it out. I'm sure you'll love it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. You can share it. And yeah, leave a comment if you know of a better, funnier story about a mess up. And I wish you the best. Take care and bye for now.